All right, this is All Things 80s with Garrett, and Garrett. I'm here in Celebration, Florida. I'm outside of Starbucks. This is the Starbucks that Adam frequented often, and I'm here to pay my respects to more of a tribute video than a memorial video. I happen to be in Florida for my son's 13th birthday. We came down here to celebrate him and to take him to Universal. When we went to Universal, we did that for the past few days and had a great time. But while I was here, I was like, I couldn't not come by here, if that's even something I say that correctly. But yeah, I almost like had to. It's like I want to come here and pay respects, and this is not. I'm not going to all the details about him, about how he died and about the finding that. I think German Adventist had a great video. You can watch his video. I think he explains a lot about what happened that day. And he's had a tribute video after that, and I did get a chance to meet German. I did not get to meet Adam. I saw Adam in May. Real Misadventures and myself were in Universal, and back in May for Fan Fest for Back to the Future, and we got the chance we passed by each other, and I mentioned this in a short video that I did. But I want to go in and I'll talk a little bit more about it. I want to get the coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I want to get the coffee today and make an exception. I want to drink coffee. I'm gonna get the coffee that he drank. Look at that. It's a beautiful morning in Celebration. All right, so very nice people inside. You can definitely tell why Adam liked coming here. I'm gonna try this for the first time. I haven't had coffee in years. Not bad. It's not my thing, but my piping hot caffeinated beverage. This is for you, Adam. Let me just walk for a second, and then we're just I'll kind of talk about what's on my brain a little bit. That's nice, the celebration thing. The last time I was in Universal back in May for Fan Fest with the Real Misadventures, and Real Misadventures he had written Adam, multiple times over the years, talking about locations in Wilmington, North Carolina, and talking about if Adam ever wanted to stop by, he'll give him a tour and all that kind of stuff. And it didn't work out when Adam and Scott on tape, and I'm gonna apologize about the sun because it's about ready to, but I wanted to get this. This is just beautiful this morning. I wanted to get it, but he had offered Adam, if you want to come and show him around and show him some locations. Scott on tape and Adam, I'll go this way, came. Real Misadventures couldn't get with them, but some of the, I feel like some of those videos are some of the best videos. I loved, this may be too bright, but I love them together. They were so good. They just fed off each other. Thought they're some of the most brilliant videos that either one of them ever had. I thought they were just great together.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on 1 second. Did you see the trailers? You're not on the phone. You got to talk on the phone.
I had to hear a ring first.
Ring.
Hello?
What's your favorite scary trailer?
I gotta say, I gotta go with Miss Congeniality too. Because I really like the first one, but the second one looks like they were overselling Shatner.
This was a fun day, and that's gonna do it for today. From Wilmington, North Carolina. Where the heck is Scott? Have you seen Scott?
And I had the opportunity, even though I didn't get the opportunity to talk to Adam, I had an opportunity to spend the day with Scott on tape and watch him film. And I just kind of was like, I kind of escorted him around a little bit, but it was more me watching him do his thing, which is absolutely amazing. And what a wonderful guy he is. And I know he's hurting, and I know he misses Adam tremendously, and he's got a great tribute video. And I'm gonna probably throughout this video, I'm gonna tell you to go watch other people's videos, because some of them just like knew Adam really well, knew him personally, and I never got that opportunity. And I think I'm gonna speak for those who, like myself, who never got the opportunity to know him, but we felt like we knew him by watching these videos and him showing us Celebration and so many other places. He took us not just across America, but he took us across the world. Him coming off his trip just recently over to Europe was some really good content. And so, I mean, I think there's people, I don't know how many comments that I've read that people said, I felt like I knew him. I felt like, why am I so devastated by this? Why am I crying? Why am I hurting? why can't I get, I never thought I'd be upset about a YouTuber who passed away. And I know there's been YouTubers recently that have passed away, and I know that they have affected their followers. I'm not saying Adam's the only one, but there's just people that just connected with what Adam did, and his influence is undeniable. It's just, so I came out here the other night, and I just came in by the movie theater, and they had the ice skating stuff up, and I walked this way, and it was, it's beautiful there with the Christmas tree, and my family, and we celebrated. It was a little after Christmas. I didn't realize it was actually the week exactly after Adam's passing, but we came up here, and they did snow on the hour. I'll share a couple pictures. I'm gonna leave here, and I want to do some locations that Adam did here locally, and more about his past and about where he came from. Where did the name Adam the Woo come from? Some places that he shared with us, and that's kind of what I like to do. I like to do film locations a lot. That's kind of my thing, and I enjoy the abandoned, I like the back road stuff. I like, even Disney. I like Disney stuff too. And what's weird is, like, I came to this community back in 95, 96, and after it opened, and drove around, and I just never, who knew I would be back here, all these years later. But his influence is there's so many guys that, I probably wouldn't have a channel if it wasn't for Adam the Woo. If it wasn't because of Adam the Woo directly, probably indirectly, but still his influence on other people made me, have a channel. That's just kind of, and there's so many people that you look and you see his imprint on what they do. There's one guy in particular I think of as, all right, so I don't even know where I cut off. I went out of my video, my storage on my phone went full. I had to upload, so I don't know where I was in full sentence what I was saying. But the video is telling me, get along with the video. Let's jump to it. Let's get into it. And I almost finished this coffee. It's actually pretty good. Basically, what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna show like where Adam had some videos where he talked about how he came up with Adam the Woo, the name. He walked through St. Cloud's. He walked through St. Cloud's and showed about where he lived. He talked about some of those things about some of the early days of him getting started. And actually, I think today is the 15-year anniversary of him posting his first video. And what it was like, and just recently it was like 30 years when he came up with the moniker or the handle Adam the Woo. And I'm gonna go and show you. I'm gonna go, revisit those places. But again, I think how we can best honor Adam is to watch his videos, and as he even talked about spreading goodness into the world. Kind of get a few more shots here before we leave here. So there's gonna be about three videos I'm going to kind of like pull from, that things that he talked about that I was just kind of like, two of those I remember seeing originally. One just recently came up on my feed. So I just want to share those things, share those going back toward the Starbucks there. But I just want to share those things about Adam, and this is more about his beginnings than it is about his death. All right, so the first stop I'm making is here at mile marker 12, and I'll put
right here at mile marker 12, you see on 192. Also, the reason I'm mentioning doing the Christmas today with my family is because on Christmas Day I might end up doing something else.
Down, but this is where Adam in this video, he came down here. This is opened up, and one of the things I was looking at was the whole Panda Express. My oldest son loves some Panda Express, but he talked about how there used to be a bunch of houses that were like these standalones, 2-story kind of things, and that were here, and he says they became to be like eyesores, and he said he was kind of glad that they actually tore them down. He said, and there's a reason why all these spaces were, because they were right in front of the houses. And let me get over here, because this is kind of where what he was talking about. So he mentioned the Florida project being filmed here. Let me go outside. So yeah, Adam was here, and he was pointing down about the parking spaces, why they were facing dead on, that there were a bunch of houses that were here. But he was telling the story, and he mentioned how the Florida project was filmed here, so this is documented. And as he would say, I don't think he said it in this video, but for posterity's sake, he would say stuff like that, which I love. I absolutely think that is brilliant. I've used that before. Don't use a lot of wooisms, but I definitely have used that one before and think it's definitely fitting. But he's out here talking about the movie a little bit, and he goes out and even talk about the doc, mentioning he mentioned this flooring here that's still here. Just getting this is, I mean, it's a beautiful day. He mentioned that he was out here, and this is what, in doing this, this is the spot where he first used the term "go home and rest well." And
The term "go home and sleep well." It's a reference to Sean Connery in The Untouchables. The first time I ever said it in a video was over here when we got the turtle out of the pool, which I think the pool was like somewhere in here. They filled it in. Cody said, "Oh, we got that turtle out. Save that turtle." I said, "We've done our duty. Could go home and sleep well." Then I Ended up going to California, became really good friends with Justin. We quote that all the time. He started adopting that into his repertoire of sayings, and now he kind of has just owned that phrase. The first time I ever said it in a video, imitating Sean Connery, was right over here at that pool. Check it out, the dock's still here. And some of the tile work here, and a jet ski.
So this is where he's first termed that coin. He said Justin Scarred has taken it and used it a lot more than he has, but he says he don't even think at the time that when he did the video, he says, I don't even know if Justin knows this.
I don't even know if Justin knows that's the first time I ever used it here. He might know.
Well, then you've done your duty. Go home and sleep well tonight.
Oh, look at that. That's... I don't know what kind of bird that is. Is it a seagull? I don't know. I'm not big on knowing what different kind of animals are. And I'm not going to go too far on this thing because I don't think it's going... Looks like this is some good that deck that's not supposed to disintegrate. It's supposed to be like made out of hard recyclable, like good stuff. But look how it's bowed right down the middle, and obviously a missing piece there. But this is supposed to be this is high dollar, expensive stuff, but it's already bowed. Don't know if it's the elements or what, but that is, yeah, Adam would probably be speaking to whatever bird this is. I didn't watch all his videos, but I've watched enough to know. Scott on tape mentioned about him talking to cows. Thought that was hilarious. I never saw one of those, but I thought that is interesting about talking about this. Is just, I just want to get a view here while this is just gorgeous. Again, I don't know what kind of bird that is. So yeah, he walked back, and after being over this way, and he was just talking about how that's where he used that Untouchable quote, the movie from Untouchables.
Yes! Go home and sleep well.
He said he thought that since they cleared it and opened it up, that they were going to be probably building something out here. And that's been a couple years ago, and nothing's been built here. But I do think it's my friend Sawyer Smoak. Check him out, and I'll mention Sawyer a little bit later. But he was down here in Florida not that long ago, and he did some couple Florida project locations. He said he didn't think he did this one. He said only had time for a little bit, and sometimes.
Yeah, luckily or thankfully, the Florida project documented this in a feature film. See the Lynx bus system going by over there. Nothing left. This will all be developed one day. Well, maybe. I don't know. 192 is not exactly thriving.
You know, the beauty of what Adam did is he had the flexibility, even though it was a job, it was his job to go do, he took us along for the ride. And he did, even though he had family, he didn't have a wife and kids and those responsibilities that come with that. He had other sets of responsibilities, but he didn't have that responsibility. And obviously he talked about his parents and his sister, and obviously you hear me say this as we go forward. It's just like my heart just breaks for them. But, and there's no but to that. But we're talking about, doing this. It's just hard sometimes to get out, and sorry about the wind, to get out and film when you're on like a family vacation or something where you're with other people who are not into the same things that you do. You know, like if you're with other YouTubers, other people who are into locations or discovering abandoned places, whatever that's your niche, it's hard to do when you're trying to do some of those other things. So we're trying to go out to dinner with family, and you're trying to do, and you want to do those things. It's not like it's not a part of it, but it's just hard. So Sawyer, this is for you as well, and I know Sawyer is heartbroken, and we all said the same thing. I know a real Misadventures and Sawyer and I have talked, and it's just kind of like, it doesn't even feel real. We're in shock. That's the best way to describe it. And here's a spot. But mentioning marriage, this is really cool. I think this is like one of, why I want to do this video on these particular videos, is that he mentions about marriage, and I'm gonna go to the next stop. So the second stop is about a mile, almost 2 miles, mile and a half down a little bit, going east. I think even Adam said that. And it's at this Iglesias de Dios Pentecostal church. He said this used to be a wedding chapel. And what's wild is that he said that this is where he almost got married in 2003. He says he was dating a young lady. They were obviously pretty serious. And he said they got engaged, and this is kind of like a wedding chapel. And he says they had booked it.
Probably have never stated this. Back in 2003, I was going to be married in this wedding chapel. It is now an Iglesias Pentecostal International Church. There used to be a wedding chapel. Kind of think of like one similar to what you'd see in Vegas, in a little wedding chapel. I got married at the chapel. Oh, love? That's kind of what this was.
And obviously it didn't happen. They broke up. But, think about 2003. This was like 6 years before he started doing videos like that he did. 2010, he said he started his channel. Exactly. So, I mean, almost 7 years, about 7 years before Adam the Woo became Adam the Woo. Like when it comes to videos, he was almost married, and he was almost married right here. Talk about a different trajectory for his life, where he would be at this point in time. He mentioned that some guy was like yelling at him out here. Somebody was at the hotel and was like, wanted to know why he was filming. And he was just like, hey man, I'm just reminiscing. I'm reminiscing about his life.
But yeah, I just passed by. I don't think I've ever mentioned it before. There's a guy yelling at me from the hotel next door. It's like, I don't want to like show him, but he's like on the balcony of the hotel yelling at me. So I think I'm gonna get back in the car, keep walking. There's a hotel right next door. I'm gonna get in the car and keep driving. Still yelling, but not showing him. He's behind that bush over there from his balcony yelling at me. Ask me what I'm doing standing here on the side of 192. I'm just reminiscing about how I was almost married.
About his life, and it was just a little glimpse, man. I think that was part of it. His transparency made him special. Him sharing tidbits of his life, and he says, I don't think I've ever shared this before, about being here and looking at this building. And so I urge you to not just to watch my video here, but go back and watch his videos. That's one way. I'll talk about that later, but probably about how we can honor Adam. Oh Lord, speaking of that, maybe the guy right there who was yelling at him. Yep, that's probably him. It's probably look at that. Man, I feel like I'm in a real life Adam the Woo video. Well, I'm gonna go on before I don't wanna have to fight. Don't wanna have to go fight not today, not on Adam the Woo day. All right, off I go. Seriously, the thing I feel like I feel like I just went into a real life Adam the Woo video. Crazy. So I'm down a little bit further, just turned on the Phillips Street. And let me just say, back to what I got interrupted by the, can't say he's homeless. I don't know if he was homeless or not. He looked like he could be homeless. Obviously had some issues. It may have even been the same guy that yelled at Adam when he was there doing the same video a couple years ago. Who knows? But what's wild is it's like, I was thinking, you know, I can have a confrontation with this guy because it was like, you know, you're not, but, you know, I didn't think having a video that honors Adam the Woo, that I don't think it would be great that I have a confrontation and a fight on the video. Just wouldn't be good.
But I lived right here on Catherine Street with the girl I was gonna marry, right down here in this house on Catherine Street.
It was this one right here, 2223. This is where he lived when he was engaged to be married. And he talked about how he did extra soundproofing in the garage, that little side piece over there. And he said when he had to leave there, taking it out was like really a pain. But he did it so he could try to soundproof the house for when he played in his band, that practices and stuff like that, that it wouldn't be. And he said it worked fairly well, but he said what a pain it was to get it out. And he was talking about what a task that was. But since I was by where he said he was going to get married, and now and he showed that place, showed the street at least, Doris, again on Doris, and I'm going to turn here orange and go back. But I just wanted to show, you know, just about, you know, where did Adam, you know, like where did this come from? Where did he begin? Where did, you know, he's influenced so many people. I really feel like that this is, you know, just part of a glimpse, I mean, you know, a little bit of, for posterity's sake, in his life. And I think it's just really neat to see the beginnings, even before channel. So here we go. We're gonna go to the next stop and you'll see. I'm in St. Cloud, Florida. And let me get at this. And I'm starting to cover a different video that Adam did. Actually, two videos. The one I originally was thinking about and got this from, he made another one a little less than 2 months ago. He was right here, and I'm gonna take you to the spot. And he was talking about the bus stop. The bus stop was here, actually. Right here. This was the bus stop. Not over there where it currently is, but right here next to the Walmart where he worked.
In 1995, 96, 97, don't know the exact year, but mid-90s, I sat right here on this bench, well, one of these two benches, because the bus stop used to be, not where it is now, which is right over there. It used to be right here. And I lived at Simpson Ridge Apartments, up on the Kissimmee-St. Cloud border on Simpson Road, across from the Kmart. I would take the bus down here, get off the bus, or I would ride my bike, but most of the time I would take the bus. And when I would take the bus home from working at this Walmart, I sat right here and I came up with the completely pointless, meaningless name that I use as my stage name, Adam the Woo, right over here.
And he talked about, if you watch the video, and I hope you do, I think that's one way we can honor, keep watching his videos, if you're a content creator, keep making videos. Do things that would make Adam the Woo proud. I think that's part of, that's what I was trying to say earlier. I got interrupted with the homeless guy and certain things, and sometimes my own thoughts get in my own way sometimes. But he was walking right here, so I think it was November 3rd, November 4th, I think it was the day. And he talked about, and he just less than 2 months ago, he walks up and he was talking about this, one of these two benches, but he said, he thought it was this bench right here that he was sitting in, and this is where he came up with the name Adam the Woo, and he sat down, and I think it was something like this. Yeah, I think this is about the angle. And he asked the viewer, you know, will you join me, shall you? And sit right here. I'm sitting where Adam the Woo sat. This is, you know, I already mentioned that I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I passed by him, and I think a lot of us, if you're watching this video, you're probably like me. You're like, you feel like you knew him. And if you didn't, you wanted to know him, most likely. He just kind of had that every man persona about him, that he's approachable. He seems to be a nice guy, a real person, genuine, and just kind of talked from the hip and just told it how it was. And from the guys that I know that actually knew him and really knew him and had a relationship with him, that's the case. That's exactly what that's what the deal was. So here he was, like, I mean, literally right here.
Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here. Cheers to 30 years ago? 30 years ago. Sitting right here, not knowing for the inconsequential, pointless, meaningless name of Adam the Woo would take me, or be using it for this channel, becoming a name that is synonymous with me filming myself every day, would start right here. Originally, that was not the intention. By the way, I'm inviting you to join me on a stroll through memory lane and a thank you. Later this month is Thanksgiving, and I have a lot to be thankful for. I am very grateful. What is, over the last 30 years, the progress of my life and what I'm able to do for a living, what I'm able to do for a quote-unquote job, as unusual and bizarre of a job as it is. The escalation and the evolution of timeline.
And telling us about how he came here in St. Cloud in 1991, 17 years old, moved here, and this is where his life in Florida began. And talked about working at the Walmart over there, and working at the different stores at Publix, Winn-Dixie, I think. I mean, he mentioned several places, but right here on this bench, he said he bought a kit, and this is where the name Adam the Woo came from. Right here on this bench. He thinks it's this one, maybe that one, but I think he said it was this one right here. And it was a kit, and he said he was playing around with a bunch of different names and stuff, Adam this and Adam that, and just different aliases. He says he wanted to, when he sent off for correspondence to some of like the rock shows and the magazines and send it off for, they'll have like self-return envelopes. He would stamp his name on it and send it off, and then they would send it back, and maybe send some stickers and that kind of stuff. This is the spot right here. This is where he came up with it. And he said it was Adam this and Adam that, and he says he didn't even remember. He says didn't mean a thing. There's no inspiration from from a movie, a character, an actor. He said he just came up with Adam the Woo right here on this very bench. And that is just wild to me, that the name that we know, and his real name is David Adam Williams, but we all know him as Adam the Woo. And right here on this bench, I'm where he came up with it. And he talked about it, like I said, I remember watching the first video when it originally aired. I just saw the second one just recently, going back and having some videos, suggestions, and this is one of them, but he just did this one. But he pretty much did, and he even said so, that he was doing a lot of the same stuff that he already did before. But I just think it's just truly, it's an honor to be sitting where Adam the Woo sat, and then to be in his town, his hometown, and where he first had some of his first jobs right here doing retail. And he talked about he did retail for about 20 years. But we're gonna go over now, we're gonna go to one of the apartments that he talked about that he lived above. And I wanna hit one other spot here in St. Cloud. Before I go from this spot, this is where he mentioned that it was 30 years ago like in 2025, 30 years ago, that he came up with Adam the Woo, the handle, and used it on different platform, different things until it became a thing on YouTube. And the video will tell you all about it. But today's also the 15th anniversary of when he started his channel on YouTube, which I think is amazing. 30 years, 15 years, just amazing that he's impacting our lives. It's just, I don't know, it's incredible, actually, it truly is. I guess maybe I should have started with this saying, welcome to St. Cloud, Florida, but this part of the video is where Adam was talking about how he got into doing his channel and about where he was living, all the stuff. We just covered his name, how he came up with Adam the Woo, the moniker for that. And he was right here. And this is what's, like I said, it's just really strange to be. It's really neat and it's really sad at the same time, but it's just, but this is where he was, and he was talking about he had a van that he had bought for his band, and talking about living, about making this a full-time gig and a full-time thing, and about
good old STC. St. Cloud, right here on Pennsylvania Ave was the apartment I had, the second story above a storefront, where I decided I was gonna quit my job. I was gonna move into a van that I was using when I was in a local band that I bought for us to tour like a week or two out of every year, which really did not really serve that purpose too well. So I thought, I have a van. Why don't I just live in the van, downsize, sleep in the van, travel, and concentrate on doing YouTube? Just go out on adventures, travel the US, show things.
Leaving and going on the road full time and doing videos. And we're gonna turn the corner here and I'll pick up down the street here in a second. Picks up back about right here. He just talks about he was living here in this apartment. I'm about ready to show you. He mentioned this in both videos. The one from a couple years ago and the one that just a couple months ago. And lived up, so right here at 11th in Pennsylvania. Let me get that right. And he said, like, you go in the door right there, upstairs, that was his neighbors. Over here on this side, he lived, that was his bedroom, and that one right up there. His living room was on that side, bathroom, bedroom. And he said he used, one thing he mentioned about his van was right here, park it right here. He said that had to move it like once a week or once a month for like street cleaning, but it was parked out right here. This is where he said that he blew up a air mattress in the van, so tried it out to see if he could actually do it. Could he sleep in his van? Obviously he did. And he says when he was first starting out, he didn't have Wi-Fi, so a lady on a coffee shop across the street, she let him use the Wi-Fi. And he mentioned something more about that space. Maybe they had some music or something in there before that, like a couple years before. It's sad to be here, but at the same time, it's still pretty neat to see where it all began. Like the name, just a couple miles away and he even mentioned about he would ride his bike sometimes, but mostly took the bus and got dropped off before he had a car, before this aspect. But living here is when he decided to make the move, quit his job. I think he said on a day before his birthday, August 9th.
Then I quit my job on August 9th, 2011, one day before my birthday. And that everything escalated from there.
We share, we're just, he was born 2 years and 2 days before before, or I was born 2 years and 2 days before him. How's that? Or or just shy of 2 days of 2 years. That's better. Just shy of 2 days of a year and 363 days that we. And this is another reason why I think that it would have been awesome to get to know him and to talk to him and have conversation, because there's a lot of stuff that I just feel like I just wanted to ask him about and just have conversation. Even if we were not close like Rayan and Scott and some of the other guys, they had that relationship with him, and that which I think is awesome that they did. It's more about, for me, it's like what could have been. And a lot of things I talked to him about Back to the Future and Bull Durham. I had a location there that I think he'd have been really interested in on Bull Durham, and just would have loved to talk about Back to the Future and what Dale had mentioned as well. Just a lot of stuff. All right, we're gonna go one more spot here in St. Cloud before I leave. Slept in the van right here overnight before he decides to go. How awesome is that at the spot where, Adam the Woo, the channel, begins. Walking back to my vehicle, and I'm just seeing stuff like this. The John 3:16 Cafe, which over here is Jesus is the reason for the season. We're just past Christmas, and that is so true. And that's just one thing I want to mention probably a little bit more later, but just talking about that, it asks a lot of questions when someone passes away, someone dies. Is that, what happens and where are they? Where do they go? I wish I could answer all those questions. I believe, I'm a Christian, and I believe that Adam the Woo grew up in a Christian home. His dad was a pastor. I think Adam probably knew the gospel. I think the way his attitude is and his demeanor, how he treated people, I feel like that he was a believer. One of his friends told me that he thought that he truly was. Obviously, I didn't know Adam personally enough didn't know him to ask him this question. I don't know where that is. But a couple guys that I follow, one guy, Aimless Adventure and History Hunters, both of those guys talk about their faith and talk about Adam the Woo. They both gave good tribute videos. I recommend you watching both of their videos. They explain the gospel a lot, probably better, clearer than I'm going to explain it right now. But it's a matter of belief that we believe that Jesus died for our sins, and that he died and he rose again, and that through faith in him that we will one day live in heaven with Jesus in heaven. And I believe that's where Adam is. That's my true belief here. I do know I looked at his dad's channel on Facebook, and I know that their comfort right now, they're going through so much. They're heartbroken over, I'm gonna sit here at this bench for a second. They're heartbroken over Adam, but their faith is in Jesus, and their comfort is in Jesus. And I'm kind of keeping up a little bit with his page, and just wanted, you could tell that they were godly people who loved their son, and he loved them. He respected them. And it doesn't mean that somebody, because they were raised in a certain home, that they follow the same path, the same religion, choose that path. It's a choice to follow anything. But for me, it's Jesus. There's a lot of things I would like to talk to him about, because I was a youth minister once. I would love to talk to him about growing up in that kind of household, and to hear his thoughts on Jesus and church and Christianity, the whole gamut. Let's love to hear it. But I cannot say the fact of going, I don't know with certainty, but I just believe that he was. And one of his friends said that yes, he thought that was definitely the case. And I would love to talk to his parents sometime, but now's not the time to talk to his parents. I'm not trying to mosey and meddle in their business during this season that they're going through. This is a time of grief and sorrow, but there is a hope. And I truly, this is my belief, but I truly believe that if you believe in Jesus, that one day you'll be in heaven and you will also see Adam the Woo. And that's where he's in I'm in St. Cloud. He's in St. Cloud today. That's my belief. Somebody else wrote something about that, and I thought that was clever, but I thought it's true. It's a good point. And so there's hope. And that's why that it is okay to grieve. And I think, like I said, Chris from Misadventures talks about this. History Hunters talks a little bit about this as well. But one of the best ways we can honor them is to continue talking about them and to do things. And one of the things that Adam did was talk about putting goodness back into the world. Well, Jesus is the reason for the season, and he's the reason for every season. That's my personal belief, and I'm not trying to evangelize everyone out here. I'm just talking about from my own personal faith. I hope that you search, and that's a question that we all have to ask one day when we do leave this earth, that we have to ask, we have to go, one day we have to answer that question. What's next, and where are you ready to meet God on the other side? Let's continue on. I'm gonna go one more spot here in St. Cloud before going back to Celebration. Now I'm at Veterans Park and Band Shell. And Adam was here and talking about erected for our high school band 1952. I mentioned stuff about Back to the Future before, different things, but the sun is bright. Let me try to get it from this other angle. But that's 3 years before Back to the Future, the setting. But Adam was here talking about that he had a punk band. He was in a punk band, and they played punk in a big concert here, like maybe in '95. So, like, talking about the same time frame. He's talking about getting his handle, the Adam the Woo. Just talking about probably the only time there was like a rock punk show right here.
Every time I see this, I think of that punk show. It's crazy. Crazy how long ago that was. That was 30 years ago. Where does the time go?
I don't know. It's right out here on the main highway. Back over that way is where you go to he mentioned about his apartment. He pointed back this direction, talking about his apartment was right back over here on the other side of what used to be, I forgot what he called it, the Ford place, but on the other side of it, it's Kissel back here. But he mentions the name and everything about what it used to be called.
I just showed, which is just over the backside of the Kisselback Ford, which used to be Poffenbaugh Ford.
And they're talking about there was a band, his band played here, he played here. A little stage diving off of it. He mentioned this. This is just, this is the fun part, of reminiscing. He was reminiscing, we're reminiscing back with him, and I'm thinking about like the Superman movie that just came out, and there's a song in there like I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. And I wonder, I don't know if he saw the movie, if he made reference to that song, if he liked the song, if he liked the movie. I liked it, some people didn't, but I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. And I wonder, I just think about, I think I'm gonna try to put that underneath a little, just for a second, because I know we'll get copyrighted and stuff and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to be blocked, but Adam the Woo, for you, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am, and right here. I mean, like I said, the last time probably that a rock punk band punk show was done. I feel like, seriously, Nerd Locations and Scott on Tape need to be here. I feel like these guys they're musicians. They play. I mean, like Nerd Locations was in a band for a long time. He played. I mean, man, Nerd Locations, this is for you, man. I know you were close. You were really close with Adam, and man, this location is for you. And I feel like Scott on Tape as well. I just feel like you guys just really just vibed well, and this would be something that I would love to have Adam here telling all of us about again. But we can do that through his videos. But again, watch his videos. That's the thing. All right, I'm gonna go wrap, finish this back out in celebration. Okay, I don't want to get in copyright trouble again on this, but Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge, looking back at 1992, the same time period that Adam the Woo would have been in some bands, would have started that process. I just think it's just neat. He would have been listening to, this would have been a song he would have known. Everybody knows Red Hot Chili Peppers, but seriously, here in St. Cloud, I just think it's fitting. This is the really hard part. I mean, a lot of hard parts to this, but this is Adam's house, and I stopped by the other night, and it kind of made it, hit really home. When you see his videos, and we're gonna keep watching his videos, because I think that's the way to honor him, but he lives on through his videos. It's like he's talking to us. He's sharing his adventures, and if and you maybe have missed a couple of videos and over the years, and you're watching and you're like, oh, it's just like it's a new adventure, and it's just like he's still with us. I was telling Sawyer in Real Misadventures, I said, I was at the park, and I kept walking through the park thinking, I'm going to run into him. I really thought that. It's just, I know he's gone. I'm not, I know this, but it's just, I really felt like that was the case. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You could tell the outpouring of love is the flowers. Celebration will miss you, Adam, and that's going to do it, but the memories remain, and that is really sums up Frida to a good home right in that. There's so many people who have written stuff, and the coffees that have, I brought a coffee cup, and I'm gonna leave it. This is from Sawyer Smoak and Real Misadventures and myself. We became really good friends through YouTube, and how we became, or doing film locations. I'm just going to add ours to the list here of things, and I know it hit him hard. It hit Sawyer hard. It hit Dale hard. It hit myself hard. It's just, these are, and I feel really, like I said earlier, you can watch German and Venice talk about how everything kind of happened, and Doombuggy Jim, I think that's how you say it. Doombuggy Jim was the one who got the ladder, everything. This is just, it's a lot. One of the things I know I remember watching in one of the videos was, I already mentioned this about Jesus, and Adam having this in his display, I think really says it all. And all right, one more thing before I leave here and go. I just want to say, it's like, pray for his family, pray for his mom and his dad, his sister, and his nephew, his brother-in-law. Pray for his family, but also in the fact, if I think about German and Venice and Doombug Jim, I'm sorry, I'm messing his name up, but the guys that were here and persevered they knew something was off. And when I got to town, I wrote German and Venice a message, seeing if he was in town, and I wanted to buy him dinner and just hang out with him for a little bit, because I knew that kind of emotional weight had to be strong. And I had seen his video that he did right afterwards, and I was just like, I just knew that he was hurting, and I really wanted to connect with him, but he had already gone back. But pray for those guys as well as his mom and dad. Let me zoom in on that. That's just amazing. And I said in the short the same thing. It is so fitting that they have the Magic Kingdom, the Epcot, the Hollywood Studios right behind Adam the Woo. How much he loved Disney, Disneyland, Disney World, but lived here in celebration, a community built by Disney. It's just, you know, whoever, the Animal Kingdom, this is just so fitting, like I said, that somebody did this, and whoever did it, thank you. I think it's an awesome tribute to Adam the Woo. And, you know, I just want to, I think this is the best place here, instead of in and at his home, which is sad enough to go by there, but I just want to end the video here and just say thank you, Adam, for the inspiration that you've given, not just to me, but to so many other people and so many other influencers. Thank you, and you'll be missed, my friend. And we will see you once again in heaven. There's no doubt in my mind. There's not a doubt in my mind that that's where you are, and you have all the film locations now. That's one of the things I loved about you, all the film locations that you did, and now you know where they all are. You know where every film location is. I think that's that. One day.
But I also want to show my appreciation for anyone over all this time has always been tuning in, leaving positive comments, you know, spreading goodness out there, the circle of goodness, which I have always referred to it as, but I've almost, well, not almost, but I have rarely mentioned that phrase anymore, which I probably should bring that back. Probably should maybe start making it all enclosed once again. I feel like the last few years have been a kind of a wacky time period. And I've always done Disney, I've always done conventions. The international stuff, even though I am doing a couple more countries, I do enjoy doing it, but man, I love getting in a car, going across the US. And that is getting me so excited to bring it back. So just want to show my appreciation and verbalize my appreciation to everyone that takes the time out of their day, their weeks, their months, or heck, even their years of tuning in. I know people are busy. I'm busy. It's hard for me to even sit down and watch a movie half the time because I'm so, busy doing this, doing other things, and whatnot. So I understand that time is a valuable commodity to a lot of people. And the fact that you are taking time out of your day to listen to what I'm saying right now, it really does mean a lot to me. So thank you. That's about it. That's what I wanted to say.